Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
So welcome to the show. Today is Monday and this is going out live on Mintwave Radio. Now you can ask Alexa if you've already enabled the skill Mintwave Radio. Now if this is via podcast, you can, if you go to the website above here, mintwave-radio.com, you'll be able to see the schedule of the week's shows and you can download the app for Android and Apple. Feel free to subscribe to any of the podcasts on our network. There are many. Feel free to follow any or leave a comment. So today's episode is 166 and today we have Geoffrey Schmidt, who is a mindset coach. He's a mindset business coach and we're going to be talking about mindset, NLP, hypnosis and business. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches and therapists to get their message heard to the people who need to hear it. Now, where do we start, Geoffrey? You have such a formidable resume, I suppose, but why is mindset so important in business?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, what I discovered a long time ago is mindset is literally going to be the distinction that makes the difference between being successful and not successful, but even more importantly, sustaining success. However you choose to define success for yourself.
Yeah, because that'll be different. Listeners, Geoffrey really is a bit of a rare find because he is not only just a business coach, he is a tested, seasoned and proven business professional. To his credit, he has started, built, grown and sold 3 companies. Geoffrey is an expert at identifying and solving problems. He also happens to be extremely passionate about coaching and helping business professionals succeed. Much of his work has disrupted traditional norms and inspired others to think differently. In his 30s, he was one of the early pioneers in the world of professional business coaching. He led a very successful coaching practice called Peak Performance Coaching. And he is one of the few business coaches who brings unprecedented value to his clients by combining years of coaching experience with years of proven 360-degree real-world business experience. He's been professionally coaching and mentoring for over 20 years, master certified in NLP, mentored, formally trained and influenced by some of the best in the industry. That's a pretty impressive resume, Geoffrey. So would you like to share with the audience a little bit more about that story?
Sure. Where do I begin? I guess at the beginning. So that journey started in my mid-20s. I was working in corporate America. I had a 9-to-5 job. I liked it. I liked what I did. It was enjoyable and I got pretty good at it, pretty efficient at it. But during those days, especially during those days, my heart was not necessarily where I was taking it every day from 9 to 5. I always, inside of me, I always knew that there was something else I was meant to do, something else I wanted to do. I enjoyed challenge. I enjoyed going out into the unknown. And these were things that I really wasn't getting in the 9 to 5. Unconsciously, my mom just started looking to answer these questions that I had going on in the background. And as time went on, I ended up getting into surfing lessons, literally teaching people how to surf on the side just for fun. It was nothing serious in the moment, or so I thought. But little did I had also know at that time that there was a major opportunity in the industry because everyone was falling in love with surfing around that time. And there was almost no outlets to learn how to surf. So from there, I was able to literally start a business a surfing company where we just started in the early days, just literally with a 1-page website, which just basically said, this is what we do, this is how much we charge, and this is how you get in touch. To where within 6 months, I'd grown it to, we had pretty much locations from Cocoa Beach, Florida, down to Miami Beach, and 1 satellite in Costa Rica where we ran surf retreats and surf trips. We did corporate team building, everything under the sun. And that was a business that really just started to grow super fast. It's just the demand was really high and the supply was very low. And as a new business owner, I really had to hold on to the reins just to keep up. Everything between hiring and insurance, regulations, you name it, creating manuals. It was a 24/7, 7 day a week. And on top of that, we caught a lot of attention from the press. We caught a lot of attention from Hollywood. We caught a lot of attention internationally. We did a little show on MTV. We were on Playboy TV. We were in Sun Sentinel. We were in magazines, Forbes, Newsweek, you name it. So it was a wild ride. It was a wild ride to up until when I exited it at 30 years old. I sold the company. And after selling it, I had one of these, what I call come to Jesus moments, where I had really taken a look at my life. And I realized, yeah, I just built perhaps one of the largest and most recognized surf schools in the United States, and maybe at par with some of the other ones around the world. But with that being said, I had to take a real look at what was the cost of all that. There was a cost, and it was a high cost. For example, I had traded all my happiness and I had traded all my freedom for that success. For example, my sister, I did not see my niece till she was 1.5 years old. Why? Because my business came first. I was married at the time, ended up getting divorced. Why? Primarily because I was never around. I traded everything in my personal life, family life, everything for business. Why? Because I thought that's just how it was. I thought that's what you had to do. If you were going to be successful, the business comes first, everything else comes secondary. So it was a rough 1 year after exiting that business. The time when everybody thinks you should be celebrating and lighting fireworks and popping bottles of champagne. No, I was actually miserable. I was, depressed, and yeah, it was a tough time. But also what was interesting, what kind of shook me out of that trade was I had people coming up to me and contacting me, asking me, saying, Jeff, how did you get this business in like the surfing world? How did you start it and grow it to something which you can sell? Because let's just face it, most people who start businesses, doesn't matter what they do, most of them are going to fail. That's just a fact. Or two, they're lucky if they can get out of the business, just getting out of the business without any debt or liabilities hanging over their head. They're just happy to be able to flip the sign to close and walk away. That's a success for a lot of people. But in my case, I had a business in the glamorous industry where we were around glamorous people and we caught a lot of glamorous attention, and I sold it very successfully at a profit. So I had a lot of people wanting to know how I did that. I even had some people, which made me laugh. They'd be like, are you some kind of a business genius? And I was like, the farthest thing from that, excuse me. You want to see my college GPA? Please, I barely graduated. So my answer to that question was always, listen, I make a decision and I go after it. I persevere forward. I don't stop. And at that time, place, and space and point, I realized through talking to a lot of high performers who were at a plateau that it's their minds that's getting in the way. They just needed somebody behind them to push them, to remind them, to support them. But another thing I realized too is it's not just anybody that can support and get behind these high achievers to help them reach next levels. It's somebody that they have to respect, somebody that they know that's walked the walk, that's seen the battles they've seen, that's taken the shrapnel proverbially. Because at the end of the day, it's tough to take advice from someone or to be able to take recommendations from someone if they haven't actually been there and done that. That was always one of my issues with college. When I was going through colleges, I had these teachers who were telling me how things are. And I'm sitting back saying to myself, have you ever worked in a company? Have you ever started a business? If you've never started a business, don't tell me what it's like. It's like I go visit England, London, and say I've never been there, and I talk to someone who's never been there, and they're telling me what it's like. I say, no, you don't know what it's like. I can go to YouTube too and watch a video, please. So at the end of the day, you want to be around your peers. You want to be around someone who, understands it, but also has the balance and the groundedness to be able to keep you grounded and balanced and support you along the way. Like I said, from there is when I started peak performance coaching. But if I'm going to be completely honest, when I started peak performance coaching, it wasn't just about working with high achievers and helping them reach the next level. It was also about me. It was about healing my wounds, from the past, getting more clear on my journey, getting more clear on who Jeff truly was, reconnecting with my center and myself. So as I was building that business and people were joining me on my journey, unbeknownst perhaps, I was going through the NLP training. I was going through the hypnosis training. And it wasn't to sit there and hypnotize people or anything like that. It was to learn more about myself. It was to be able to gain more control over myself and my emotions and things of that nature. And then I also went through the formal coaching training. I went through some of that, the action coach and things like that. And again, the biggest benefit is it's like you find people who are where you're at and you're taking them along on this journey. So as I was growing, developing, and learning new things, I was able to give that to my clients in addition to empathizing with their situation and the actual experiences that they're going through and growing their business and developing their business and reaching those next levels. So as the journey continued and I was building this business, one day I was in Key West, Florida, and I experienced a cosmetic product in the bathroom of a restaurant called Salt Scrub. And that was the seed to my next business venture, which was a cosmetics company called Florida Salt Scrubs, which I built over 10 years to eventually sell. Now, at the time, I had a coaching business that was going on 6 cylinders and running on 6 cylinders, I should say. So it's not like I can all of a sudden pick up the phone and cancel people cold turkey. You can't do that. That's absolutely right. So what I ended up doing is I just took down the website. I wasn't taking on any new clients. And basically the clients I was working with, I just worked with them until we were finished. That was it. Just let it taper off. And then as that was tapering off, the cosmetics business was growing. The cosmetics business I was building. And again, I was taking a lot of the lessons and what I'd learned through being a professional coach, what I had learned through my previous business in the surfing world, and applying them to this business. And I can't sing the praises enough of the educational, of the journey, how it helped me with building a cosmetics company. It was invaluable. With that being said, is the early days of that business, because I knew nothing about cosmetics. I knew nothing about that. I didn't even use skincare. I barely use sunscreen. Come on. What am I doing in this business? However, it called me. My phone rang. I answered it, and I was in cosmetics. So we started off literally just like going to the green market, setting up a tent, selling the product under a tent, and then taking those profits from the sales, because we'd sell out every time, and just reinvesting them into the business. So the way the story goes is like it started in my kitchen, then it moved to my garage, then to a 400 square foot, then to a 1,500 square foot, then eventually up to a 3,000 while keeping the 400. And once, we had 4 trucks on the road driving all over the state of Florida, servicing retailers everywhere, shipping our product across the United States up until the point I sold it. We're in Whole Foods, CVS, Walgreens. As that business was growing, as I was going through that journey, I was learning to grow with it. So I was dealing with more high-level conversations when you're working with Whole Foods or you're working with some of the national retailers and chains. You're dealing with a different personality. You're dealing with a different mindset. And that's the thing. When your business does start to scale and get bigger and you have a lot of employees and you have managers and people running things for you, you really have to have that mindset to stay balanced, to stay focused, to stay in the game. Because there's days your personal life is going to overlap. It's just going to happen. There's days you're going to wake up in the morning and your dog's going to be sick. Your truck's going to have a flat tire. You're going to get to the office and realize there's a roof leak, and then your number one client or a customer's threatening to leave you. It just all happens at the same time. A shelf in the warehouse also fell down overnight. So it's like mentally, how do you keep everything in alignment without having a nervous breakdown? Well, everybody's looking at you because you're the leader. You're the one in charge. You're the one who has to keep it together. This is why I say all the time, honest executives and entrepreneurs, when they're honest with themselves, they're suffering in silence. They are. I encounter them every day. And they'll look me square in the eyes and say, no, everything's perfect. Everything's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. You can keep telling yourself that. There's a million ways that you can pull that out. That reveals in someone. There's a Tons of ways. How's your business? This is one of my tests with clients. How's your business? Where's your success? Okay, let's say you're successful. We'll check that box. How's your freedom? And where's your happiness? But where do those two lay? And more often than not, you get the quick, sharp answer, which is just, oh yeah, I'm free. I'm a business owner. I can do whatever I want here. And then the next answer, yeah, I'm happily married and I have 3 kids. I'm happy. Not very convincing. So all I have to do is paint a picture and say, for example, hypothetically, let's say we took it a vacation right now. Can I just grab your hand and throw you on a private jet and we'll fly off to Ibiza and enjoy a week together? Oh, hold on. No, I can't just get up and leave. Whoa, you just told me you were free. You said you were free. Let's go. Come on. We're going to go have some fun. There's nightclubs. We're going to dance. We're going to have a good old time. Don't worry about your business. You're free. You got that handled. Oh, wait, I can't do that. Guess what? Then you're not free. What about happiness? Oh, wow. So you're smiling all the time. Look at you. Yeah. All right. Are you on any medication by chance? Are you taking pills for this, that, blah, blah? What's your diet like? Yeah, you don't seem very happy to me. So the thing is, people condition themselves to believe their situation is the best that they can get, the best that they can have, when unconsciously they know deep down inside they can improve. And that's why it's like with my coaching today, with mindset business coaching, I don't put it out there that much, but when somebody becomes my client, they get this side of me. They get this side of the coaching curriculum, we'll say, is the fitness side. That's one of the key anchors I've been able to fall back onto my entire life is fitness. Fitness keeps me sane. It keeps me balanced. And I've always believed a healthy body is a healthy mind. So when I see somebody who is out of shape, now there's a difference between, hey, there are medical conditions out there which are going to put people in certain situations. But if you have control, if you have the opportunity to be able to take yourself to the gym, to eat healthy, to make good decisions, then that's something I believe everybody should master. Because ultimately, at the end of that road, by mastering what you eat, by staying in shape, you're going to not only look better, you're going to feel better, you're going to perform better. It's proven. It's a proven fact. This is not an opinion. This is factual stuff. But again, that's something I'll get into often with clients down the line, not right out of the gate. And that's also another proof of a habit. A lot of people think that they have such control over their lives and their emotions. And all I have to do is look at somebody, say, for example, if they're smoking a cigarette. Anybody that smokes a cigarette that makes that statement, sorry, you don't have control. Because we all know smoking is bad for you. But, why do you smoke? Just stop. Just stop. If it was that easy, just stop. Perfect example of how people do not have as much control as they think they do. Because if they did, then they would do the right thing 100% of the time. When you ever eat like ice cream or sweets or sugar or drink soda, we all know it's bad for you. Sugar is one of the worst things you can put in your body, but yet people put it in mega doses, especially here in the United States. It's in everything because people get addicted to it. So a big part of mindset coaching and on the mindset side is making people and helping them become consciously aware of the decisions they're making. So these are not just scripted patterns of behavior carrying themselves out, but rather they're able to pull up that e-brake or flash that big red stop sign and say, wait a second, is this what I really want? Is taking this action or this next step, whatever it is, eating this chocolate Easter bunny, I don't know, is this going to help me get to my next level? They said to me while we're working together, one of my goals is to be healthy, is to have a six-pack, let's say. We got to eliminate all that sugar. We got to get rid of that bad stuff completely. But if they can't, then we have something to look at. And if they keep getting tempted, at least I'm going to give them the ability and the tools and resources to be able to stop themselves before stepping over that line. Now, here's the flip side of the coin. There's always a positive answer. If they do keep crossing that line and they do keep eating the bad stuff, then maybe that goal wasn't that important to them to begin with. Maybe we should just let that go and move on. Why beat a dead horse, as the proverbial saying goes? It's if you're not going to do the things to get what you want, maybe you should just change what you want, if that makes sense. Maybe that's not what you really want. That's the universe and your unconscious speaking to you. And then that's another huge part too we get into is just learning to listen and connect to that inner voice that everybody has. Again, in today's world, so many people are following social programming and social conditioning. They're disconnected from who they actually are. Who are you? Who are you as a person? Do you even know why you're on this earth? That's a question I challenge my clients with all the time. What's your purpose for existing? Why are you here? Why are you walking around? Why are you living and breathing? And you'd be shocked how many people do not have a quick off-the-cuff answer for that because they've never considered it. They've never thought it. So if you don't know why you're here, how do you know if you're going in the right direction? How do you know?
Many people don't. Many people don't have that tied in because many people are doing what they think they should be doing or what they think will make them money rather than doing what they are here to do. Yeah, I believe I'm here to guide and heal.
Exactly. Likewise.
But quite often that can be a real sticking point for some people because they've quite often fallen into things because that's what they thought they should do, because that's what we were taught. Go to college, go to uni, get your degree, go and get a job, then find a partner and then have a family. And oh no, we forgot to buy the house first. We got to do that one first and get a mortgage and get that tied to you for 25 years. So many people actually have gone down that route thinking that is the right thing for them. So yeah, if somebody's going to ask them that question, why would they know? Why would they have that? They already think they're doing what they should be doing.
Exactly. It's the path of least resistance too. Let's just face it. When you follow that path, you always have excuses. You always have somebody to blame. There's always a reason why something isn't working out. It's never your fault. It's always someone else's. So that system, when you think about it, what you just described it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant to keep people in this box and to keep them
trapped,
like little robots. Yeah, exactly. Trapped instead of thinking for themselves. Yeah, it's a very ingenious system the system has designed.
So you being a business coach, but what would you say is the real difference between being a mindset business coach and a standard, I shouldn't say that sounds terrible, a business coach? Because not all business coaches cover mindset, do they?
No, they definitely don't. And the big distinction that makes the difference is this. So on the business coach side, I know business. I know how to coach business. I know how to read spreadsheets. I know how to grow business. I can look at your business plan and help you create a business plan and help you scale like that. That to me, honestly, that's the easiest part because if you get business, but it's very like linear. Let's put it that way. You got to do A, B, and C to get to D. That's just how it is. As far as the mindset goes, mindset's a whole other world because here's the thing. So let's just look at business for a second and bridge into mindset. So let's say we put together the most amazing business plan, okay? You're an executive, you're a VP for sales, and maybe you have 10 sales reps who are out there and you want to scale that to 100. And you want the whole United States, Canada, Mexico, and maybe even some countries in Europe. You're ready to go. And we sit there and I coach you on how to get this plan put together, maybe give you some ideas where to look, yada, yada. And you're like, yeah, let's go. We're ready to push the button. Oh, wait a second. How's your mindset? Are you ready to handle this? Are you going to have a nervous breakdown when you get to 50? Are you going to lose it? Is all of a sudden you're going to start going home and getting in arguments with your significant other because, that one rep you hired in Germany keeps insisting on this and saying, no, it has to be this way. You don't tell me what to do. But then your Mexican rep, all of a sudden you get a text message with a picture of him or her just doing shots of tequila all day when they're supposed to be visiting accounts. And now all of a sudden your dog is sick. And then now your child who's in college decides she wants to drop out, move to Vancouver, Canada. But dude, what happened to this business we were creating? We have the plan. We have to execute the plan. Listen, if you don't have the mindset to handle and be mentally prepared for this, it's not going to work. I love using the example, like if for anybody out there who's seen the movie 300, how did 300 Spartans take on 1,000,000 Persians? Because they were a united front. They had a mindset of they knew what they were there to do. They understood what they were there to do. They understood the territory and the environment and all the conditions that could affect their job, their performance, and fighting the enemy. And because of that, not only did they understand it, they accepted it. And they were amazing warriors because of that. So in business, this is the thing I tell people all the time, because I hear it all the time. Oh, I want to scale my business. I want to reach the next level. I want to go here and here. I go, whoa, stop. Be careful what you wish for, because this is what can happen. If you scale too fast in your mind, if your mind does not move at the rate of speed that your business moves at, what's going to happen is you're A, going to mentally suffer. Two, you're probably going to start making some really bad decisions, because you're not going to know how to decide. You're just not going to be at that level. And then three, once you start making a lot of bad decisions, this is the worst part of it. They've just grown this amazing, they're scaling this amazing business, but because they don't know how to lead, they end up ruining it. And I have seen businesses that have gone into the tens of millions of dollars, literally, only for that, I don't know, house of cards to just collapse. And now all of a sudden the owner, the entrepreneur will say, the leader, they end up in debt up to their eyeballs. How do you have a $10 million business and it collapses, and now you have debt collection agencies and collection all around you? It's because you grew too fast. You didn't know what you were doing. You thought you knew what you were doing. And I see the hubris everywhere in business. People are like, I got this. No, you don't. The smart businesses today, especially I'm seeing this, and I don't know why, and I'm not trying to be biased, but it's just my observation. California, a lot of the tech industry has really started embracing coaches. I was at a tech, it was a PodFest thing, okay? It was in Orlando, and I met a lot of tech people. And one tech person I spoke to said to me, he goes, in his industry, he says, it's a competitive advantage now in my industry to have a coach. And he said, when we're looking for VC money and investors' money, the investors are actually weighing in. What are you doing for the team? What are you doing for the support? Because smart investors realize a better investment is one into people that invest in people, that invest into their growth. So if you have two companies that are identical and you're an investor and you're going to say you want to put $10 million into one, are you going to go into the one who says, oh, we got this. We've been doing this for 20 years. Our way, it just works. Or are you going to put your money into the company where you're talking to the leader who says, no, listen, we have a team of coaches. I know it adds to our expenses a little bit, but here's the thing. By giving all of my executives, by all my executives having their own personal coach to support them, hold them accountable, and basically listen to their silent cries and really have their back. As an investor, I'm going to be like, yeah, you're the company I want to work with, because you care about people and you understand the most valuable asset in your business is your people. The strength of your people is the strength of your business. End of story right there. Strong teams thrive. Teams that have to figure it out and do it on their own. Listen, there was a time, place, and space where that was okay. But nowadays, this is the problem businesses face. There are smart businesses hiring coaches like me and you and other coaches out there to work with them. And they have the competitive advantage. I would put my bets on those businesses over the other ones. And bear in mind, as a business coach, myself, mindset business coach, I talk to a lot of business owners and executives who are just like, nah, I got this figured out. Okay, that's fine. The good news for all of us is there are a lot of businesses that do want to grow, that care about their people. And those are the ones that we're going to see thrive and continue to prosper into the future. In fact, Google was one of the early adopters of professional coaching for their team members and executives. I can't think of the owner's name, but I've read a quote. He made this quote in 1999 or 2000, way back in the day, where he talked about the importance of coaching. And I was completely and that was before anyone even knew what coaching was. But it was recognized. He had seen it, the value. And even companies like GE, like Jack Welch, this is before, this world really existed, but Jack Welch, former CEO of General Electric, had created an educational center for General Electric management and executives where they could get in-house coaching. So this is nothing new to the real players in the industry out there who dominate and do very well. But for anyone that's up and coming or at that mid-level that wants to reach that next level, if they have not embraced the idea of working with a business coach for their executives and even up and comers within their company, they're going to be at a competitive disadvantage to their competitors who have embraced the idea.
Yeah. And also, most coaches need coaches. I will always have it. I can't imagine a time when I won't have a coach, because every coach was the right person for me at that time. And I think it's very dangerous then to think that you know it all. Oh my goodness, we've got so much to learn. There's so much growth to have. And I think it's quite, choose my words here. It's just a little bit, if you think you've got this, man, if you're in business, you're going, there's no sort of, you don't stay level. You're either going up, you're going down. And if you've decided that, I know you've got this, then I would suggest you might be starting to turn in a different direction.
So true. It's a law of nature. Nothing stays in a permanent, I think there's a word for it, I can't think of it, but nothing stays in a perpetual state.
No such thing as inertia.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So who is your particular target audience? Do you deal mainly with executives, people in corporate arenas, or do you focus on entrepreneurs as well?
It's both, because again, my background is I'm an entrepreneur, having built and started and sold businesses, but having ran companies too. I have the executive as well. And that's the thing. Like in my particular world, it's rare to find an entrepreneur who's also an executive, because they are technically two different jobs. The entrepreneur is coming up with the solution, the creative, the idea. That's the job typically of an entrepreneur. Executives are the leadership. They come in and bam, they get things in alignment and they run the company. So I do work with both sides of the coin. The entrepreneurs, the creatives, which obviously, that's an area I come from, but also too is the executives, having led and ran companies. So I focus on entrepreneurs and executives. And again, it's because I have gone through, I know the journey. I know the weights they're carrying. I know the weights that they're carrying and not telling anybody about, that they just keep inside. I know this. So I'm able to empathize with them, connect with them, and then help them put together a plan to get to the next level, and whatever that level is that they decide that they want to reach. And 9 times out of 10, it's generally not a business plan. It's more of a mindset plan, because they know the business. They would not be, especially the executives would not be where they are if they didn't know business and know how to do their job. They just wouldn't. But what they do struggle with is, like I said, the work-life balance, being able to balance their life. I tell a story all the time about when me and my significant other, we went to Barcelona, Spain, and I think it was like 2017 or 18. We were there for 10 days, which is a long time to be anywhere. And I'll never forget it. If you looked at Facebook, it looked like we had the best vacation any couple could have in the world. Smiling pictures. Ooh, look at this pasta. Oh, look at this piece of food. Oh, I'm in front of the Gaudi Museum. Looks amazing. What people did not see on that vacation was, hi, in front of the Gaudi Museum. Okay, got the picture? Cool. I have a message I have to get to now. I have a phone call I have to make. Oh, you just go in there without me. I'll see you in 20 minutes. An hour later, she's walking out. What happened to 20 minutes? Very important client. I had to stay on the phone. So that's not vacation. That's not freedom. That's just relocating your office. That's all that is. So these are little things that people just don't think about, because a lot of executives and successful entrepreneurs, they'll go on vacation and go through that same experience thinking that's perfectly normal and okay. Meanwhile, deep down inside, let's be honest, when you go on a vacation, don't you want to go on a vacation? Don't you want to be in the present moment to enjoy and fully take in what you have just allocated 10 days of your life to go do?
Yeah, but that's why I suppose you've got to set your boundaries. You've got to set your boundaries from the get-go, whatever business it is. And I get it. Obviously, there's different types of business. There might be certain different deadlines. If you don't set your boundaries, then yeah, you're actually a slave. You've actually just bought yourself a full-time job and some.
Exactly. You're 100% right. And a lot of people don't even know to set their boundaries. That's the thing. Nobody tells them. That's the problem with highly driven people. Highly driven people that want to give, that have a gift to share, whether it's sales, art, sport, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a similar cloth that everybody's cut from. They want to give. They're givers. And when you're a giver and that's how you're wired, how do you set boundaries on giving? Somebody wants your gift. How do you say no to that? And then that's again where coaches like us come in and bam, we got to get clear with that. We got to say, listen, you're the most wonderful person on the face of the earth. No one will disagree with that. But when you go on vacation, that damn phone, put it in a FedEx box, send it to me, and I'll send it back to you when you're done. Yeah, we'll delegate, we'll hire someone. Yeah, but what if? We never know what's going to happen.
That is the issue. And I do get that. I have to say, I haven't had a holiday recently, but I will be planning one, and I will make sure that everything is, I don't want to be got hold of.
Exactly.
I do not want to be got hold, but I get it. It's scary. And I know I'm going to admit, I've never done it. So I could say that's what I'm going to do, but I've never actually done it. So to be able to put your whole, because it's, when you start in a business, it's your baby. You're so emotionally involved in it. But like with anything, if you are getting ready to scale up, so it can't be like that, because number one, you can't deal with everything by yourself. So there's going to come a point where you're delegating certain bits. And even then I would struggle because, I never thought I was a control freak, but obviously I was a little bit wrong there, because I would still be panicky in the beginning. I think I'm getting better at that, but there has got to come a time. And do you not think that this is the sort of the issue, so many people, because they're refusing to get help because they say, I've got this. And you think, if you've got this and you're doing it on your own, you haven't really got what I would call a business. You've bought yourself a full-time job and you're dealing with it. But if you want to go to that next level, then, and again, I get it. It's like, when do you do it? Because it's that chicken and egg, isn't it? If you're going to need help, then you've got to spend more money in delegating certain jobs. And then, of course, fear. So this is why mindset is going to kick in. That's why they need you, because naturally fear steps in. I teach mindset and fear still gets me, because it's, but what if? I had a great month last month. What if I don't do it this month? And so there is this sort of transitionary period, isn't there, before people go from one sort of level to up on the next step. But how do you encourage them to take that step?
That actually ties right back to the business coaching side. That's where proper planning and strategy comes in. For example, you hit a nail right on the head when you said the word fear, because that is what stops people cold in their tracks. That's what makes people indecisive. That's what makes them hesitate, doubt. And they might say, I have no fear. Yeah, you do. If you're hesitating and you have doubt, you have fear. You're not 100% sure. You're not 100% comfortable in taking that action. And how we alleviate that is literally through the planning stages. So for example, with what you just shared with me, is you want to take a vacation. Guess what? First and foremost, the first success is that you're conscious of it. Okay, you want to take this vacation. Number two, you realize that there's ducks you're going to have to put in a row in order to do this. So you're self-aware in the fact that that if you were just to get up and go right now, the business would come with you. 110%. It's coming in your pocket and it's going with you. However, when you're talking to someone and you're able to put together a plan in order to make it happen, and we get clear on saying, all right, listen, what is it that you do every single day? What are your non-negotiables from the moment you wake up to when you go to bed? All right, cool. We got those down. How do we delegate those while you're gone? Who can do those while you're gone? It's not going to be at your level because there's only one of you, but who can we put those in the lap of or on the desk of so you can take a vacation? And getting crystal clear with putting that picture together and the planning. And when you're able to do that, then we can have a conversation that, all right, now you can let go of the fear and go enjoy your vacation, because you are aware, you've accepted that things may not go as if you're there, But the value in the vacation at this stage of the game to reset, recharge, rejuvenate outweighs any loss that you may actually encounter or experience while you're gone. So mentally, in a mindset way, you have accepted the conditions of the environment, the new environment you're going to step into. And heck, if you're working with me, I actually tend to paint a more grim picture. So there's a higher level of acceptance. So it's like you come back and there's just ruins and smoke and zombies running down the street. You're like, cool, I knew this might happen. I'm okay with that. Let's rebuild. Let's go. Hey, how are you? You look great as a zombie. So when you can bring people into the even the darker side of reality beyond what's really going to happen, then when they come back, they're like, oh, wait a second, this wasn't that bad. All right, this is it. Got it. Let's go. Business as usual. Let's get that.
Exactly. It's only a perceived fear, because really, what is the worst that could happen? At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that all my current clients, if I was to say, actually, I'm going on a 2-week holiday, they would be absolutely fine. Even if we did say, oh, okay, this is going to be put into place, that is going to be, or even give them, I think isn't it? It's all comes from us within. We put too much either pressure on ourselves or expectation. Isn't that just normal? If I know for a fact, my last coach, I can remember when he went on holiday, and was I upset that he was going on holiday? No, of course not. It's no problem. See you when you get back. Have a good one. But why do you think people get so caught up in that sort of day to day, and that it's almost like they're too important to take time off. Like scarcity. Yeah. So fear.
If somebody does walk away and you go on vacation and they disappear, the universe made that happen. You'll find a new client. You'll replace them. Because again, it's like the proverbial saying, I can give someone a fish or teach them how to fish. If you know how to get clients and you know how to fish, guess what? If one or two jump off the deck of your boat and swim away, not a big deal. I'll throw fishing nets all over. Whatever. I don't like that analogy because I'm very much a conservationist, and that's another story. But I got to come up with another story. Okay, if you fish with a pole, I'm okay with that because that's work. But whatever, I'll catch another fish. You know what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. And so it is. It's all down, and I think that is. And I suppose maybe it is even more prevalent these days with what's gone on the last few years. There is many that do definitely have that scarcity mindset, that lack mindset. And that is actually the only thing that's holding them back.
It's scary too, because scarcity mindset makes people do, there's no other way to put it, stupid things all the time. Decisions they make. All you have to do is look at the world today and see some of the issues going on. And it's people act out of scarcity instead of acting out of abundance. And where does scarcity come from? Insecurity. Where does insecurity come from? Lack of confidence. Where does lack of confidence come from? Lack of experience. Where does lack of experience come from? Lack of courage. And this is why mindset is so important, to have the courage to do the thing you want to do so you can get the experience to get whatever it is. Like when I was training salespeople on cold calls, I would see them sitting down, shivering like leaves on a tree, like to call a business card and be like, oh my God. I'm like, just call the damn thing. Maybe they hang up on you. Maybe they scream at you. Who cares? They're not going to kill you. You're going to survive. And once you've called 5 of them, you're just not going to care anymore. You'll start laughing at the next one that screams at you. You'll be like, dude, you need a Xanax? What's going on? Take it easy, pal. Have a nice day. And but you can't get to this place until you have had the courage to face, I don't know, the dragon in the eyes or whatever, and realize it's not a scary dragon. It's just another creature who's scared. And you have to take that higher ground. Be like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Call you later.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see this a lot myself, is that it's almost, especially with the online world, right? It's, yes, we've got this and we've got funnels and we've got automate. We would love for it to be a push button, send somebody a link and they go boom, buy. I've got to say, I don't think I have had any that have come in that way. Every single one of my clients have come in through an action taken from, there's got to be some point when active prospecting, you have to, even if we've got systems, we've got funnels, and we've got yes, they serve a purpose, but the actual final getting people to pull a credit card out and actually pay for your coaching, I could be wrong. I could be wrong if I went through the stats, but very few then I would say have come purely through a funnel. There's always been, but so many people seem, especially in the coaching world, because like I think something you said a bit earlier is that they're so good at giving, but they're not so good at receiving. So they want to be doing all this stuff and putting out content and maybe creating all this stuff, but they're still avoiding doing the most important part of their business. Again, I haven't built 3 big companies. Geoffrey, what would you see are your most important jobs that you need to do a day to bring in business?
First and foremost, the hands down is making sure your head's in the right place. Watching your mindset, being very conscious of how you feel and being very conscious of how you communicate, because we always have to be growing. And by staying conscious and aware, we're able to catch ourselves before something happens. We say something, do something, whatever. Just having that level of self-awareness, I guess, is probably hands down the most important thing. But also too, just staying involved, staying on top of things, knowing what you have to do. Like one thing that I've been doing since my 20s is I plan my next day, sometimes days in advance, and then I'll add to it sometimes the night in advance. So knowing what you need to do the next day to grow and being grounded and real. This is where you're at. Don't try to pretend you're something that you're not. I don't mind sharing a little story here real quick that is a contrast to what I'm talking about. Is when I sold my last company, and my coach actually is the one who called me out on this. He said to me, he goes, Jeff, you just sold this company, and he used the metaphor like A, B, and C. So like in order to grow a company to C, you have to go through stage A, and then you have to go through stage B, and you eventually get to C. And he goes, you just sold a company at stage C, and you're trying to now start a new business at stage C. You can't start at stage C. You got to go through A and B. And when he said it to me like that, the light bulb went on. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I got to get grounded. I can't just jump ahead of the line. I have to do what needs to be done for A, check off A, and then do what needs to be done for B. And once I check off B, then I get to C. It's not like you just walk onto the stage and you're an overnight rocket. That's not how it works. And when he put it to me like that, I got it. So so to answer your question, being grounded, being real with your circumstances, your situation, and accepting it every day and knowing that every day you're taking a step forward. Because if you think you're at C, you're going to constantly be disappointed because you're not at C. You can't be something you're not until you've earned the right to be there. So there you go. That's my answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. But what I find is that so many people are avoiding doing what they would consider as the scary stuff.
Yeah.
That they need to be doing if they want to get business in the door.
Yes. That's where the gold is. It's in the scary stuff.
Yeah. What was that book? Something about eating the early bird. The early bird eats the catches. Oh, I can't remember.
What the early bird gets the worm?
Yeah, it's just the early bird catches. So you got. No, it's eat that frog or something like that.
Oh, eat that.
You just.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting so confused there.
You've
just go and do it. Just do it. Just do the thing that scares you and do it first thing. Get it out of the way. And then your day is a little bit more chilled.
Yeah.
For you, Geoffrey, if people are listening and thinking, okay, would you say that your real passion is from scaling people or starting people up? Where would you rather help people get from A to B, from B to C, from C up? Where's your happy place?
I like growing people. I am very passionate when somebody comes to me and they have a problem, they have a challenge, or even if they have a new idea, something they're trying to create. And I'm able to be part of that, be able to be part of that journey where, I can look at what their situation is, whether it's on one hand a problem or on the other hand a creation that they're working to build, identify it, and then look at them and see where they're mentally at, and then work with them on the tools and resources to help them scale and reach the next level. Because again, back to something I'd said earlier, is most of people's stuckness, whether they're aware of it or not, it's all upstairs. So being able to give them those mindset shifts and help them realize real fast that it's not as bad as they thought it was, or maybe it's not even what they thought it was, something else, having to reframe an experience or connection for them in a way that makes new sense, that all of a sudden just opens up a door and allows the light to come shining through. Yeah, I guess scaling is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
People bringing it up.
Seeing that
people
growth.
that are right out of the gate and new, listen, there's so much work to be done when you're right out of the gate. You have to get those boxes checked, and even still, you don't even know if you're going to survive. That's why I have on my LinkedIn and on my website, I work with successful entrepreneurs and successful executives. And I'll share this with you. Part of my low-key mission is, I mentioned earlier, a bit of a conservationist, and I want to make the world a better place. Every business I've ever had has been what I call, this is a little woo-woo, but I've always called it a positive karmic business because it improves people's lives. And again, I'm not throwing any professions under the bus, but there's certain professions out there where they'll pit a wife against a husband, and they make more money the more they fight. I don't want to name it, but these are professions that might, that they just deal in the negativity. I've never had a business where I just want it to be part of the positive outcome, the positive solution, the solution that's going to benefit humankind. And with that being said, is by working with successful executives and entrepreneurs, I'm working with people who have influence over other people, okay? They have influence with people. And by me working with them and growing them and making them better, making them more effective, making them more positive, making them feel more free, that energy comes off them. And the people that look up to them and that respond to them are going to feel that energy. And those people, just by consequence, their energy is going to get bigger, badder, bolder, and stronger. And guess what we end up doing? We're making the world a better place. I know that's not the marketing thing to lead with, but that is the ultimate effect of all of this. And that's what excites me. And that is really why I do target the successful entrepreneurs and the successful executives, because I know by working with them and helping them, they're consequentially going to help so many more people than I could ever possibly reach as an individual. And to me, that's beautiful. And that's how we make a peaceful world, is by creating understanding and building people to have high self-esteem, high confidence, better decision makers, better leaders.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. You got the ripple effect then going on. So for the listeners, if they can't see your information, if they're not watching it on YouTube and you can't see the info, or it's not on a social media post, then just to the listeners, how would they get in touch with you?
They can reach me through my website, AYRO mindset, MINDSET.com. They can find me on my LinkedIn. They can Google my name, Geoffrey Schmidt, and come up on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over the place. So YouTube. So they can find me in a lot of areas. But yeah, the most direct is going to be through the website, or they can email me directly. Just email coaching, the word coaching, at AYRO mindset.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Look, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Yeah, you're speaking my language. I love it. And I can totally relate to some of the things you were talking about, the fear of, growing. And it does definitely need a mindset shift. So if anybody's really looking at scaling, look, I truly don't believe that anybody got there by themselves. Everybody who scales to that next level, they got some help somewhere. There's no shame in asking for help, right? So reach out. You've got Geoffrey's website. You can connect with him on all the social media platforms. Yeah, thanks for your time today. And to the rest of you, I'll be back tomorrow with a coffee with Karen. Bye for now.
Thanks for having me.
Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.